Today we're going to look at the Elgato Eve motion sensor. This is again a Apple HomeKit, as you guys would expect by now. Supported device. Just going to open this up. And you can see from the back here, this is actually a Bluetooth, so this is not a wireless. So this is going to have a little less range than you would get on your wireless devices. You have to have it within a certain amount of time, certain amount of space between you and your Apple TV Gen 4 or your potentially your iPad or iPhone. So keep that in mind when you're looking at placing this around, that this is not actually going to talk wireless. You're going to have less range unless you could do something like grab a Bluetooth repeater, which Elgato is also supposed to be releasing in 2017. So let's see what this here looks like. The box in here is very much like the door and window sensors. I'm going to open this up. Ooh, look at that. Batteries even included. Isn't that amazing in today's world? So you got the HomeKit code here on the side here, so in case I want to add the device, and it's also right there on the back of the Elgato Eve motion sensor, right? So I'm going to see if we can get this off here. We will open up these batteries real quick. Peel off the little protective wrapper there, and there we go. It's you can see here, this is a little chunky. It's a little bit big. My first impressions is it's just not as small and unobtrusive, I guess is a good word, as the Philips Hue. The Philips Hue, on the other hand, I can't really use that with any other HomeKit other than, or can't use it directly than the Philips Hue lights. So if you look at this, and this is pretty much at scale, actual product size. You can see there the difference between these two guys, right? On the box, it's actually right there on the bottom, it says actual product size. You can see this guy here is quite a bit more chunky as well. For the Philips Hue, there is a magnetic lock on the back of it, which means you can put it, basically mount the magnetic lock to the wall anywhere you want. There's a screw on that, and then this guy here, you just tilt them whatever direction you want. Whereas with the Eve, all I've got for mounting here is looks like you'd probably put a screw in the wall, mount this in the back, and then drop it down, and then you would have this basically pointing straight out, mounted against the wall. You may be able to play a little bit with it. I don't know, we'll see that, but first impressions are that it's kind of chunky, to be honest. But we'll see how this actually works with the HomeKit setup. Now we'll go over to the app and add this in and see what we can get working. So now we're going to open up the Apple Home app. We're going to add an accessory. And there, the Eve motion sensor, that actually came up really quick. That's pretty impressive. We're going to let it scan here. Make sure it stays connected to power and nearby. There we are, all added. That can take a good 20-30 seconds depending, so don't be too worried if when you're adding your own you find that it takes a bit of time. So we're going to call this the My Office Motion Sensor, and I am going to put this in my office, just where you would think it should be. So I'm going to go over to my office and make sure that it's in there properly. Motion sensor triggered. Awesome. We can go to details. Battery level. Again, that's nice. I like this here that they're actually exposing the battery level. Not all manufacturers actually do that. So you may have to rely on the manufacturer's app to know whether or not your battery level is going to be having some problems. You can include this in the status or want. You can allow notifications. I actually don't want notifications on this because I'm just going to use this to turn off some lights or turn on some lights when I come into my office. So we're going to open this over in the Elgato Eve app and then see what we can see over here. We'll go down to my office here, my office motion sensor. We can adjust the motion sensitivity here, which is kind of nice. I do like the fact that I can adjust the motion sensitivity. This is a really nice feature to have on the Philips Hue, and it actually doesn't exist on the iHome IS550. So that's a nice picture, nice feature to have. And we can see here, you can go low, medium, or high sensitivity. So I'm going to make this at medium sensitivity. I don't want this picking up people walking by my office, but when I come into my office, I want the lights to turn on here. Ooh, there's a firmware update, so let's get that. Free firmware update. We get direct LED feedback when setting the motion sensitivity. That's nice. Option LED feedback. Again, I actually really like the fact that as soon as you turn these things on, that I'm getting an update. Yeah, it happens, but okay, 4 minutes remaining. I will do some magic so we don't have to wait through this whole thing. But in a nutshell, yeah, these products come out and their firmware isn't perfect, but I really like the fact that vendors like Eve or like Elgato on the Eve product line, they take the time to actually upgrade the firmware on these guys so your experience gets better over time. I've seen quite a few of these that they start extending support for other smart homes like Alexa from Amazon or Google Home. So I like the fact that I'm not necessarily in Apple HomeKit. I choose to be there. But if I want to go somewhere else and I want to take these products with me, I like the fact that they start open up other manufacturers' frameworks. Right now, I don't believe that Elgato has chosen to do that. I believe they're an Apple HomeKit only vendor, and that's okay. I'm in the HomeKit camp right now. But just so you guys are aware, just make sure that when you're looking at these things, make sure you make wise purchasing decisions because you're going to have to live with these for a bit of time. So now you can see the update installed. It's restarting the Eve motion sensor. So now we're going to wait for this to happen as well. Updating the HomeKit configuration. Migrating my office motion sensor. Again, this is just part of the firmware update, I'm assuming. You're all done updating. Here's an overview. Okay, great. So sensitivity. I thought I just changed this to medium, but we'll go back in and change that. Okay, so we're going to go back down to my office. We'll grab the motion sensor. We will change. Okay, there we are. So it's now actually set to medium, which is good for best results. Position low, more movement is required to trigger Eve motion. High means less movement is required. I'll change it later. Okay, cool. Duration. Eve motion can set scenes through rules. For example, create a rule to automatically turn off a light after specified duration. After motion has ceased, it will still be reported as detected for this duration. Okay, so up to 15 hours. I don't need 15 hours, but maybe I want to make sure that it stays on for 30 minutes. So we'll try that. So I'm going to go back into the rooms here, and I want to see what I see when I go into my office. Motion started. Oh, that's actually some nice graphs. So now here I can start looking at different scenes and I can set triggers. If I want, I'm going to go back over into the Apple Home app and set up a trigger through here. I'm going to set up an automation. So create new automation, and I am going to say when an accessory, a sensor detects something. So when the My Office motion sensor detects, I am going to, actually I don't have a scene for this set up yet, so we're going to go back and do this. Cancel. We're going to set up a new scene. Turn on office light. Turn on my office light. Okay, and I'm going to add accessories to the scene. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to find the My Office. I'm going to turn on the My Office group. Done. There we are, so that's good. Okay, So now we're going to go back into automations, create a new automation. Once the sensor detects something, it's going to say my office sensor. Once it detects movement, I'm going to go find that turn on my office light. So enact that scene. There we go. Next. When motion detected in my office, and I don't want this only after sunlight, I want this wherever it is. Cool. Whatever time it is, and I'm going to go now. I'm going to see if that worked. So I'm going to turn off my office group here. So we're going to create a new automation here, and we're going to say when a sensor detects something, I'm going to use my office motion sensor. And I have a automation turned on here, turn on my office light. So there we go. And I want to make sure down here at the bottom that the right light is selected. So I'm going to turn on my office main. There we go. And I'm going to click next. So when my motion is detected in my office, I could do this only after sunset if I wanted this, in a living room or something like that. In my case, though, I actually want to make sure that I want this to turn on during the day when I come into my office so I have enough light to work. And what do I want to do? I want to make sure that press and hold to adjust accessories, my office main turns on. So I click done, and there I go. Now I can go over to my office here, turn the light on and off, and just like that, the lights come on. You guys can't see this, but it's a beautiful thing. So I've been living with the Elgato Eve motion sensor now for a couple months, and I can honestly say that I didn't expect much from this from a lot of the online reviews. There was a lot of complaints about the fact that it didn't react fast enough, that it just didn't communicate fast enough with the other HomeKit devices. I took that into account, so maybe it's because my expectations were a little bit lower, but I have been really, really pleased with this device so far. My main application for this is it's in my office, so when I walk into my office, I'm not really concerned about that 1 or 2 second delay for this device to turn the lights on in my office. I'm going to be in my office for a while, generally when I walk in. It's always worked. I've never had any issues with it not picking up movement. Like I said, I've been really, really happy with it. The other thing that is, in my mind, a really, really good thing for me as a consumer, which, we're all spending money on these devices. We want to know that we're going to get our money's worth. Elgato has officially come out with a blog to say that they are going to be releasing new firmware for their current line of devices that will enable them to take advantage of some of the new Bluetooth technology that's supposed to be coming out in iOS 11 to really speed up that communication path and take that 2 seconds down, approximately 2 seconds down, to sub-second reaction times. So, that's great. I spent money on this. It's a consumer product. Usually you spend the money, you get what you get at that point in time. You don't expect much in the future. In this case, they're going to be upgrading it and give us better user experience. That's awesome. So now we just have to kind of wait and hope that they stay true to their word. Honestly, I expect that they're going to, and I would definitely recommend this product for your applications. Again, understanding its limitations right now. If you bought this today, which is August 2017, it's going to take a couple seconds for things to turn on. This is probably not great for an application like your hallway, where you want the light to turn on instantly as you walk through it. But if you've got a space where generally when you walk into the space, you want the space to adapt to you being there, detect that there's somebody there, this is a great, great fit for that kind of an application. See you guys next time.